Hey, welcome investors to the 40 Finance channel. Today I've got a big list of stocks, over 100 stocks to buy and hold over the next 10 years. I put this list together using just a stock screener. So we're going to go through the top 100 stocks that the screener output. I'll show you the parameters that I used. I'm just going to go down. I'm going to tell you, would I hold this stock for 10 years? Could I see myself holding this stock for the next 10 years? Why and why not? So let's jump in. We got a lot of names to look at. All right, first things first, here's the parameters of the screener that produced 309 names. We are not going to go through 300 names. We're going to start from the top and go to the bottom. And here are the parameters that I use. So I live in the United States, so I put United States on there. Economic moat, wide or narrow. In my opinion, if we're talking 10 years, you better have some sort of moat to show for, or otherwise competition could come in and crush your business. Price, I want to eliminate penny stocks here, so I just put $10. Estimated revenue growth, over 10%. Think that growth is obviously another necessity if you're talking about holding for long term. And I also put EPS growth of 10. Now, some of these new stocks that are popular, some of the growth names, they may not have a strong EPS from, say, a P/E ratio standpoint, but they should still be able to grow their EPS by at least 10% from an outlook standpoint. I mean, if you figure your EPS was only $1, then we're only asking you to grow to $1.10. So if you can't do that, then I would have my reservations. At least from a projection standpoint, we should be able to see that growth. Exchange, we got basically NASDAQ and NYSE. And on the moat trend, stable and positive. So I want to make sure that you can defend your moat here in the short term and potentially expand your moat over the long term. All right, and actually once I press the Find Stocks button, we are only left with 120 names. So let's take a look at the names and see what we got here. Across the board here at the top, obviously price, the change in price for the day, volume, market cap is what we're going to sort by, get the most popular names out of the way first, because I'm sure we all know what some of these are going to be. P/E ratio, 52-week range. Estimated EPS growth is here. Estimated revenue growth is here. All right, so let's go down this list and look for any surprises that showed up. Google, no surprise. Amazon, Facebook, Tesla. Tesla for me would be an interesting one on 10 years only because how much does the electric vehicle world change? That being said, I would feel pretty good that they're on the cutting edge of technology, but this is an undeveloped market, if you will, in my opinion. NVIDIA, I don't think too many people would argue that. Visa, this is a stock that I hold. Visa, as I've mentioned on the last couple videos, you know, is cryptocurrency, is fintech a threat to Visa? I'm not sure. I think that there are some components that offer threats, but I do think that Visa's moat will carry them through a lot of those challenges, assuming that they adjust and make changes to their strategy as time goes on. Alibaba, obviously a very interesting story right now. If I were to buy Alibaba, though, I would say that, you know, in 10 years, for as much as they've been dumped on here recently, 10 years, they've probably got the benefit of the doubt in that category. United Health Group, this is health insurance. I don't know a lot about this company, so we'll just assume that health insurance will continue to be a need. ASML, this company provides a lot of the equipment for the semiconductor producers. I don't see that going away. MasterCard, on a similar scale with Visa. PayPal, this is one of my holdings. I see a very bright future there. Adobe, when you think of all the software platforms that Adobe offers, on top of the fact that they're a subscription-based business, I think this is pretty strong. Netflix, a lot of people might argue Netflix in 10 years, just because the streaming space becomes more competitive. You've heard me say before, from my vantage point, I see Netflix as the next cable company. right? Like Time Warner Cable, I see them turning into the next version of that. We'll find out. Salesforce, can't imagine a world where B2B and B2C sales don't exist, so I think that's safe. Broadcom, semiconductors, massive company. I don't see them going anywhere. Intuit, which is known for not only QuickBooks, but TurboTax. This I don't know if I would buy for 10 years. And the reason is because I could just see QuickBooks getting disrupted as well as TurboTax. Maybe I'm missing some components of their business, but I would be out on this one. Charter Communications, this company is a cable company. Funny that we're talking about Netflix, but they also have some rights to broadband fiber wires. So I could see them staying in business. I don't know if it'd be the best 10-year investment in my book. American Tower, all the cell phone towers. This is a REIT. I can't imagine cell phone towers going away. Then Charles Schwab, of course, the investing house. I'm sure they're not going to run out of money unless they get into mortgage-backed securities or something. ServiceNow, this is basically a subscription service, communications with customers for businesses. I can see that becoming even more important, particularly on the digital side as time goes on. Intuitive Surgical, a lot of advanced medical equipment being done with Intuitive Surgical. I say as long as they keep their patents and stuff coming through, that looks pretty promising. Square, I don't think too many people would argue with Square on a 10-year list. I think they need to keep innovating though to make it for the full 10 years. Atlassian, hopefully I said that right. It's a software maker. 10 years, I can see this. I don't know enough about their product line. I know that they make Jira, which is like a help desk software. But assuming that they have several software irons in the fire, we know that that model, if we think back to Salesforce and all the subscription services we see nowadays, I could see that keeping them in line. But I'd group it with Intuit to some degree in the sense if you're not making the next best software, then you're certainly at risk over the longer term. Booking Holdings, this is a travel corporation, online travel sites, a collection of them. I love Booking Holdings as a 10-year hold. All right, so that was the first 25. Let me expand the rows here to the full 100. Booking Holdings, okay. Next up is Melli, Mercado Libre, basically the Amazon of Central and South America. I definitely think that they will be around 10 years from now. Analog Devices, I don't know a lot. They're like a circuitry maker. Gilead Sciences, obviously the rich get richer in the health world, pharmaceuticals, all that stuff. That's where Gilead sits. Lam Research, this is another one that makes equipment for the semiconductor industry, so I project good things there. Crown Castle REIT, not super familiar with this, so I'm just going to skip it. Chubb Limited, this is an insurance company, well-established insurance company, so I can't imagine that they fall flat anytime soon. Equinix, that's a REIT. I don't know enough about it. Next, we got Becton Dickinson Company. This is a medical equipment supplier. If you're new to the channel, I don't do a lot in the medical space in terms of stock investing, pharmaceuticals, medicine, biotech. There's certainly awesome opportunities there, but as I've said before, I'm just not smart enough to read through those investor reports and figure out what those guys are really doing out there. We'll put Edwards Life Sciences in that category as well. Fiserv, so this is a company that helps banks with transforming into digital services. I will say that Fiserv is facing some steep competition going forward, just like banks are facing steep competition. So I like what Fiserv has done in the past. I would say 10 years is a long time, and I guarantee you the banking industry will look a lot different in 10 years. Will Fiserv be able to innovate and stay on the cusp of that. Illumina, this is genetic testing, that should be fine. Pharmaceuticals, Regeneron, anything pharmaceuticals, I'm sure Regeneron it has a bright future, but innovation is the key. 10 years is a long time, and any pharmaceutical company, it's all about the pipeline, it's all about acquisition. It's beyond the scope of what this channel covers, but if you're holding pharmaceuticals, make sure your company has an awesome pipeline. Workday, this kind of gets back into the digitization of managing a workforce, so I think they have a bright future. Twilio, this is another customer engagement communication platform, subscription-based. I can see them around in 10 years. CrowdStrike Holdings is cybersecurity, very hot stock, arguably overvalued, but certainly a bright 10 years in front of them. VMware, this is also like application-based software. This is an older company, so I would definitely challenge them to continue to innovate if they do want to be relevant in 10 years. Lululemon, when we think about 10 years for Lululemon, boy, do fashion statements change, right? So they've got a ton of pressure. If you said that I couldn't sell it for 10 years, I don't know if I would buy Lululemon. However, what they've done in the past 3 or 4 years is absolutely outstanding. Baidu, the Chinese search engine, same kind of risk as Alibaba. If I'll give them one thing though, this is 10-ish years that we're looking at, so hopefully they can bounce back and get a little leeway from the government. Palantir, you could argue this one because of their track record, which is very short. It is a stock I own, and I think that they have the technology and the adaptation rate to survive in 10 years, but it's certainly not without risk. NetEase, this is a China-based company with communications and gaming. Really tough to say. It wouldn't be on my list of 10-year stocks. I don't know NXP Semiconductors, but I'm just going to make the assumption that if you're in semiconductors and knowing what we know about the short-term shortage, I can't see the need for this industry going away. Docusign, very interesting when you think about 10 years because as much good stuff as they're doing now, where will this technology be? What will the competition look like in 10 years? I like Docusign. I think it's overpriced. Currently at $275. I don't know if I would put it on my list of 10 years though. That would be a tough one. Chipotle, I think Chipotle's done a very good job of digitizing their order pickup and delivery. So regardless of what happens to restaurants in 10 years, I could see them being around absolutely for sure. This IQVIA Holdings, I'm absolutely not familiar with, so we'll skip it. Then we've got Fortinet, if that's how you say it. That's some sort of cybersecurity play. I don't know a ton about it, but cybersecurity is a good place to be. IHS, this is like a business and economics analytics firm. Just going to say, since it's analytics and data across multiple different markets, I would say that that has strong potential to do well, but I don't know a ton about the company. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, if I remember correctly, this one is trending down from a price standpoint, and I think they make drugs for cystic fibrosis, and the outlook or the market share for Vertex is very strong. So 10 years from now, again, it's pharmaceuticals. They'll have to keep innovating. All right, for the rest of this list, I'm just going to speed through and pick off the names I absolutely know for sure. Palo Alto Networks, cybersecurity, great play, easy 10 years there. Digital Realty Trust, DLR, I love this one. This is a REIT for data centers, and frankly, I need to buy into this. I've been watching it for too long. Match Group, where do you think dating is in 10 years? And can Match Group continue to innovate and or buy the competition? Probably wouldn't be on my list for 10-year stocks. Okta, another sort of cybersecurity play. Okta certainly seems like it has a bright future. All right, Centene, this is healthcare / insurance. one to watch, Zscaler, cybersecurity for the cloud, so I could see that as a great play. Don't know anything about CoStar or Transunion Group. HubSpot, which is digital marketing tools for businesses. Assuming they innovate, I could see that doing well. Don't know these. Willis Towers, assuming that that is cell phone towers. I'm guessing it's a REIT and there could be something to that game. Skyworks Solutions, great company in terms of audio components for cell phones. Biggest risk is their number one client is Apple, but hopefully they can continue to expand. Payroll software, Paycom, payroll's not going away, and so I assume they will do well. Here's an interesting one here, Viacom CBS. Do you think that they can continue to innovate their digital offering from a content standpoint? Viacom does own Paramount as well, so that'll be interesting. Splunk is another sort of cloud database provider. Monolithic, I'm not familiar. Transunion, I'm assuming that is the credit reporting agency. That should do well in the long term. Don't know Charles River. Don't know Icon. Ring Central, this is a service that I actually use, and they provide digital communication tools such as like cloud-based phone numbers. A lot of people are high on Ring Central. I think they have to keep innovating. Ulta Beauty, I would have that as a very good deal for a 10-year buy and hold. Same with Domino's Pizza here. Who else do we know? LKQ, this is auto parts. That will be a very interesting industry 10 years from now as electric vehicles get on the road. And LKQ, you got to wonder, like, that demand for parts for gasoline engines could be in a really good place in 7 or 8 years as they stop selling those things. We'll see what happens. Zendesk, customer support software. Don't think there's anything really moat-worthy on Zendesk, but the need to produce help software for websites and stuff, don't think that goes away, and it's a subscription-based business. All right, if you're still watching this video, then you made it through 100 stocks that offer a pretty solid buy and hold opportunity. I did not see a ton of fluff on that list the way that I chopped it up. You know, if I had to make a guess, I would say 70% or so of those names I would consider strong candidates for a 10+ year hold. That being said, I'm sure there were plenty of names that weren't on there. Thinking out of my stocks that probably weren't on there, DraftKings would be one that I think could very well still be around and performing well in 10 years. I would think Etsy is another one that would probably be performing well in 10 years. And we didn't cover Zillow on that list either, but I put them in the same category. What other stocks did you notice did not make the list? Leave a comment below. As always, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all the things. Appreciate your support. We'll see you on the next video.